everybody, welcome back to Jessica's Reading Room. My name is Kim and today we are going to be reviewing What Happened That Night by Deanna Cameron. I'm so sorry, I never know how to pronounce that first name. So this person, yay! And the cover is absolutely brilliant. It's so simple, but yet it's so effective and so gorgeous. And I love it so much. And I'm not going to lie to you. This was one that the cover totally attracted me. I was at Books A Million. I knew that I was going to be buying a book. I just didn't know which one. I saw this cover and I was like, oh my gosh. So I bought it. I know. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but look at the cover. I kind of couldn't help it. Okay. It's just in my nature. I'm sorry. There you go. Anyway, so this book is about, hold on, let me make sure again, I'm getting all of my character names correctly. Clara Porterfield. Her neighbor Griffin is found murdered in his swimming pool one day, and then her sister is actually arrested for his murder. Now, basically, this whole big story is about who actually killed Griffin. Why did they actually kill Griffin? What exactly happened between Clara and Griffin, Griffin and Emily, Emily and Clara. Basically, it's kind of a mystery figuring out what happened, basically, what happened that night. Now, I will admit, because I think I can actually kind of, sort of, giveaway, kind of, sort of. Yeah, there's another story that needs to be told. Face the truth about what really happened that night. Okay, all right, fine. So I can't really go into tons and tons of detail because, again, I don't want to give it away. However, I will tell you that there is a trigger warning at the beginning of this book for rape and sexual assault. So that kind of sort of already gives away a little bit of it. It doesn't take a genius to actually figure out what exactly kind of sort of happened, what the motivation was. So again, I won't get into it tons, but again, it's also kind of obvious. I will say that that is one thing that I did find a bit, not necessarily a bad thing, but it is something to mention that, like I said, it is actually kind of predictable. It's not hard to figure out, motivations. It's not really hard to figure out, kind of exactly what was going on between Griffin and Clara. It's just kind of how it is. However, I will say that there is a twist that I was pretty surprised about. So I can't really say that well, it was a really bad book because it was totally predictable. No, there was a twist. I did actually like the twist, and it was enough to keep me going. However, I will also say that while the plot was good, the mystery was good, it was far more about the emotions and the growth of Clara Porterfield. It's told from her perspective, basically. This is her story. And I have to give major props to Cameron because she took something that is, such a hot button issue, and it shouldn't even necessarily be seen as a hot button issue. We're talking about reality. We're talking about reality for a lot of people out there. And so she took something that is a problem, that is that's a big problem, and she put it into a book, and she did it in such a way that, believe it or not, for me, it caused me to see both sides of the story. And that's something that I really appreciated because, in today's day and age, with accusations flying around like crazy, accusations being used for political purposes, accusations being lobbed at people for their own benefit, things like that. It's sometimes you find yourself having a really hard time actually putting yourself in the accuser's shoes. And when I say accuser, I do mean sexual assault victims. I do mean rape victims. And like I said, I've said this before, how many times I hate politics in my fiction. Honestly, I hate politics in just about anything because, honestly, most things, politics should have nothing whatsoever to do with it. And I will say that with the exception of one little teeny tiny statement where she brings in accusers of politicians and comedians, she actually kept this politics free, which looking at it without the lens of, dealing with fame and with money and with, political gain, we actually got to look into the nitty gritty of the crime itself and then the aftermath, which I very, very much very much liked reading about. I liked actually seeing it from the other side. And she did get into the nitty gritty. She did get into the reality, and I liked it. I liked it a lot because, it's one of those things where, we live in a world that is not black and white at all. We don't have the benefit of saying, everything is absolutely 100% clear cut, right and wrong. I very much do believe that there is right and there is wrong. There is black, there is white. However, in between the absolutely right and the absolutely wrong, there's a whole, shade range of gray that, you just kind of, sometimes things aren't clear cut. Sometimes things aren't black and white. And Cameron did such a great job of showing that and showing, the problems of, taking something that is so clear cut, something that is so simple. A rape happens. A girl is, is attacked by a boy. He forces himself on her. And it's a crime, and it's wrong, and it's everything about it is evil and horrible and should be condemned. But then you look at the aftermath of what happened, and it's not just about right or wrong anymore. You've got the complications of feelings. You have the complications of, societal pressure. You have the complications of even the legal system. Because that's something that, those of you who have been, reading Jessica's Reading Room, watching our videos, that's something that I'm actually incredibly interested in. I'm the weirdo who reads Helter Skelter for fun because I like all the little tiny legal minute details. And, looking at it because the situation with this sexual assault, while you're reading it, it's incredibly tough to read, but while you're reading it, you're sitting there and you're going, you know what? Of course, this is wrong. Of course, this shouldn't have happened. Of course, this is a crime. But then, you sleep on it, and in, the sober light of day, you take a look at it and you go, how the heck is a prosecutor gonna be able to prosecute this? All somebody needs is a good defense attorney. And honestly, the accuser's statement is gonna fall apart. And I'll also say, see, we're getting off onto really philosophical stuff that this book opens up these kinds of discussions, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I'm saying that she's dealing with all of these major issues that then, I'm still pondering this book. I'm a ponderer. So I'm still considering the circumstances of this book. I'm still considering, well, if I was in a situation where my best friend came to tell me about this, my daughter came to tell me about this, my sister came to tell me about this, how am I going to react to this? What if I was the prosecutor? What if I was the defense attorney, or, oh my gosh, the judge in a case? Looking at it, and I will say, look, I'm not one to trust the legal system really at all. You guys know me, not a huge fan of the federal government, and the judicial system is all part of that. So I'm certainly by no means a big fan of it. But I also have to admit that I see the issues that, we have certain constitutional rights that I wouldn't trade for the world, ever, in any circumstances. But yet, we still have issues of, well, yes, you have someone who's innocent until proven guilty. And again, that's the cornerstone of our justice system. But then, a good lawyer who knows how to argue can then twist something into what was a crime into something that wasn't a crime. And I mean, I'm not going to go after the defense attorney for doing that. That's his job. That's what he does. And I mean, it becomes something that it should be so simple. Something that should be a black and white issue. Rape, crime, rape, bad, rape should be punished. All of a sudden is this complicated mess of emotions and circumstances and details, and Cameron manages to put that down on paper. And it's fascinating. You get so involved in it, and how we ended up from talking about a fiction book to the judicial system of the United States of America, I have no idea, but that's what this book did. And I really like it. It was really good. It gave such a good look at both sides of the issue. I mean, it's this jumping off point to then you sit and you think about your, what is my stance on all of this stuff? And it just, by the time you're done, you're just going, what happened? Whoa. And honestly, I mean, that's is that not an indicator of a really good book? One that makes you think, one that makes you ponder and philosophize, and you're off on this rabbit trail that takes you way over there when you're supposed to be here, and you know what I'm saying? There you go. So yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. Like I said, there was that tiniest little bit of politicizing that wasn't a huge big issue, but it was just enough to where I was like, we shouldn't be trying to score cheap political points even in a book, but yet it was, you know what I'm saying? But everything else about this book, I mean, it's one of those things where I would actually say, and that's another thing that we didn't talk about, because this even got me started. I even posted on Facebook about it, is this idea that women are not the only victims of sexual assault, that you also have men who are victims, not just of other men, but their attackers are women. And what kind of resources do those victims, it's not about female victim, male victim, those victims of sexual assault, what resources do they have? Why do they have to defend their victimhood when they're just as much a victim of the rape, of the sexual assault as the women are? And I mean, and again, Cameron opened that door, and it kind of didn't really occur to me until I was reading this. And there are so little resources for sexual abuse victims who are not women. And it just, like I said, I ended up way over there. And when I'm just sitting here reading this book, and rabbit trail, big rabbit, big trail that took me way over there. And it just, you know what I'm saying? My gosh. And all this from just a beautiful cover. Dang. Deanna Cameron, you just. So anyway, calming down, getting back to the book. Here you are, this lovely cover. I gave this book 4 stars out of 5. I absolutely recommend it. I would say that I think that while it's YA, definitely be reserving it for the older of the teenagers, because it does deal with a lot of adult things that I don't think younger kids really need to be thinking about. But yet this is one of those cases where I'd have a hard time saying who I would and wouldn't recommend it to. So I'm just going to say I recommend it because it's a really good book. I got really emotionally involved. The characters, there was such major growth for Clara from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, watching her grow up in the wake of all of this, not just of a sexual assault, but also, having a sister who's been accused of murder, and all this stuff just kind of all comes out, and it was a great journey. and I learned a lot, and I really liked it. 4 out of 5, and I do recommend it. There you go. So, see, if I keep talking, I'm going to get off on yet another tangent, and we're already over what I'm supposed to be doing for a book review anyway. So, see, the longer the videos, the less people watch it, and that's kind of not the point. But those are my thoughts. I really liked it. Again, 4 out of 5, very good. Let me know if you have read it. Let me know what you are reading, because you know I'm always wanting to hear what you're reading. Share with me other covers that you really love. Let me know what you think of this cover, because we are all about the gorgeousness here at Jessica's Reading Room. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Give me your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, and I will see you next time for our next review. Bye.